What's up, you guys? In today's video, I'm joined with the Core 4. We're going to be talking about 4 core principles for a successful pressure washing business. We're all going to be throwing in some different principles here. We're also going to talk to you guys a little bit about WashCon. If you guys don't know what that is, check out the first link in the comment section and the description. WashCon is the #1 pressure washing event in the world. At WashCon, we're actually going to be giving away a trailer, and Cody's going to be telling us a little bit more about that. So, Cody, you kind of want to show us around? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. The one we're building for WashCon is going to be like this trailer here. Take you guys over closer and we'll take a look at it. It'll be pretty similar. Some major differences, though. This one is an 8-gallon cold water machine, and the one we're going to put on the WashCon trailer is a 10-gallon. So it's sitting right there. There we go. So that's a 10-gallon a minute pressure washer. And basically the difference is LED lights. It will have a 24-volt system on it, as well as a 12-volt soft wash system, and then 2 pressure reels. So that 10-gallon a minute is a beast, and we're going to split that into 2 5-gallon a minute reels back here on the back of the trailer. So you'll have the option to run 2 5-gallon a minute systems, or you can shut one off and have one monstrosity that you really don't need, but it'll be cool. We'll put LED lights on it. Of course, all of our trailers get bed lined. The entire trailer is bed lined for corrosion resistance. It'll come with this kind of standard for us, surface cleaner, wand, the whole 9 yards. So very capable system. This type of trailer can do easily a couple $100,000 a year in revenue. And we're going to give one away. It's going to be like almost a $30,000 trailer by the time we add the 24 and the Smart Blend. And guys, the Smart Blend, if you don't know what that is, go over to my channel and check it out. These guys will tell you it is really cool. The ability to remote control your chemicals, never been done before. It's patent pending. So really excited about that. We're going to give one away at WashCon. How cool is that?
So, like I said, in today's video, 4 core principles. Which one you guys want to go first and kind of talk about one of the principles?
Here's my core principle. We talked about this, me and the guys here. This is something I've tried to live by. And it's funny that we're doing our video tonight, because today I had to kind of get on to my employees, some of my production staff today. I had to kind of give them a reminder. Let me show you what I wrote out on my board. This is our big board in our office, and this is our yearly and quarterly goals. Of course, we're in Q1 right now, and we're looking at production. That's a big thing for us. You guys that don't know us, we're the world's largest soft washing equipment manufacturer, and to maintain that, you got to get stuff built right, and get it out the door. And what I see happening, again, we're getting back in the truck, going out washing. I'm kind of turning the keys to the shop over to my crew, and I've got an excellent crew. I've probably got one of the best crews that you could possibly put together. But I noticed in the last week was our first week back from the holidays, and this week, we're 2 days in, and I'm seeing them do something. It's driving me nuts. They're confusing. Here's your tagline: don't confuse hard work with results. Those are 2 totally separate things. They're in here working. They're zipping all over the place. They're super busy, but they're not getting the results that we used to get with less staff. So I've got additional staff. They're all trained and they're busy, right? But they're not getting results. And so that's my core principle. Don't confuse hard work with results. I heard it. It was my first boss that told me that when I was in my early 20s, my first real boss, at a job I cared about. And I was working my butt off as a manager, and I was always kind of feeling like I didn't get anything done at the end of the day. And he said, well, I'll tell you why you feel that way. You're confusing hard work with results. And so I had to really take a step back and prioritize, like, what does my day look like? What does my morning look like? What am I allowing to come into my day that's throwing me off track? Because I've got a goal at the end of the year, the quarter, the month, and the week, right? And then if you go all the way back to today, there's where I can see the problem. It's these little things that are getting in the way. And that's true for you guys. That's why I'm bringing it out to this training event, that mindset. You've got to stop getting stuck on all these little things that aren't getting any results. We focus on that on the equipment. I could build equipment that would just be absolutely ridiculous on gallons a minute and volume and PSI and mic in there. And y'all know, you can go down the rabbit hole until you're out there washing a house with a fire truck. But the problem is you're not making any more money at the end of the year. And so when you're looking at hard work versus results, the big question you got to ask yourself is what is going to make you make a decision one way or the other? Here's what I think. It should be data, okay? Your decisions should be data driven. Because if you don't have data, if you're not tracking it like we're going to do right here, I've got the weeks and the quarters and stuff broke out. If you're not tracking it, you don't know if you're doing a good job or not. So you should be looking at your P&Ls. You should be looking at your time on the job. You should be looking at, in the marketing world that you guys live in, you're looking at cost per clicks and all the conversions and all that stuff. I don't fool with any of that, but I'm looking at data to make the decision as to whether or not all this hard work I'm doing is going to get me the result. Aaron's the king of making money without breaking a sweat. That's Per Pierce, right? His brother tells him he's good at making money without getting dirty. And that's great. I mean, if you can make the same amount of money and get the same result and not work as hard, does that mean you're lazy? No, it means you can take all that extra energy and you can do something else. We can start a whole nother business on the side, right? And now you got 2 revenue streams. But if you're maxed out on this one thing and you're just killing yourself, well, maybe there's a better way. And that's where the 4 of us come in. We can show you a better way at WashCon.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to piggyback on Cody because he was talking a lot about analytics and being mindful of the data, being data driven. And that kind of goes in my core principle, which is tweak until you're successful, right? Because I think a lot of people, they get into the business, they want to get into it. There's so much that they can do. They get lost in the minutia, and they don't make the right decisions. And then they don't know those key indicators to tell them whether or not they're being successful, right? So be data driven, figure out, benchmarks, things, where you start, where you want to go, set goals, and tweak until you can achieve those goals, right? With marketing, with equipment, with customer acquisition, with scaling your business, with quoting, all these different things. We have to wear so many hats as pressure washers and as business owners, not solely just pressure washers, because we offer other services as well. But we need to continue to tweak. And that's what I based my whole marketing philosophy off of. That's what I based this whole YouTube channel off of, because in the beginning, I didn't even really know what I was doing on YouTube. Hey, look, to some extent, we still don't really know what we're doing, but we continue to put our best foot forward. We continue to look at our metrics, and we continue to tweak until we can achieve the results that we want to achieve. So that's the best that we can do. Mine is tweak until. Aaron, you want to take it over from here, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to play off of what Cody was saying, I think, activity versus results, right? When you have an employee situation, I remember my first job at Smoothie King when I was 15. I was schlepping smoothies, bro. And the only reason I got the job was because I wanted free smoothies. Like, that was it. I knew I could drink as many free smoothies as I wanted. And yeah, it was a dumb idea. But as an employee, our goal, and 99% of employees, not all of them, but 99%, their goal is to look active. But they're seeking homeostasis, right? They're seeking doing nothing. But if I look active, like the military memes, right? It's like, look like you're doing something, but you're not really doing anything. The issue with that as a business owner is that you can't do that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it shows up real quick in the bottom line, right? So one thing I see when it comes to activity versus results is when a business owner starts being real active, they start flailing and they stop really focusing on the quickest way to cash and getting the money, right? Is that they're not betting on themselves, right? They're scared. It's scared money. And so they're focusing on, like, how do I optimize my email campaign when they don't even have a website? It's like, bro, you need to, like, focus on some core foundation principles. And it's a common distractor among people, right? We're always trying to find a way to get out of the thing we need to do. I talk about this in a lot of videos on my channel. It's probably the main theme, right? Look the hard thing in the face, bet on yourself, put the money down on the marketing. And if you're budgeting 15% on marketing and you're making that back, you need to continually do that, right? So if we say 15% of 6 million, Cody, what's that?
I don't know. My phone's right there getting used for the camera.
That's like $600,000, yes. Right?
And we spend, I mean, I've showed Aaron before, our ad spend is ridiculous, but it translates, and you have to do that. And what you guys, I was going to say with Justin, it's a lot of analysis paralysis. I'm honestly glad that when I got into washing, this is 20 years ago, I'm only 36, but in high school, there was no internet. And I'm kind of glad, because if I had have had the internet, it's a double-edged sword. You've got all the info. The problem is you've got too much info. And if you're wired that way, anyway, it's very easy to get down that rabbit hole of you're just spinning, like you said, you're just flailing all the time. So you got to get dialed in on this stuff, guys, and don't make it harder than it is.
That's what we're talking about at WashCon, right? Look, it's not about more. It's about less. That's what WashCon is. It's about less. It's about showing you the exact things that you need to be doing, clearing away all the fat and laser focusing on these few principles that need to happen and getting rid of all of the fog. That's a big thing. I know a lot of guys, because look, you can watch YouTube till you're blue in the face. Yeah, man, you could build a business in 5 years, 10 years. But if you want to cut 2 to 3 years off the learning curve, come to WashCon and bet on yourself.
Absolutely. And I want to say this before we get into Mike's principle. We got some questions in the chat. We even got a super chat from Jacob. We're going to get to all the questions once we get through the 4 principles. So with that being said, Mike, you want to take it away and tell us about your principle?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk about being the guy who signs the checks, not the guy who's cashing the checks. And by that, I mean having a business that's scalable, having a business that has allowed you to grow to the point of being that guy. And, you know, if you're an owner operator, you are signing your own check basically, right? And that's a great place to be. But a lot of people want to be bigger than that. They want to grow. They want to scale their business. And there's a couple things that you can do to do that. And one of those things is focusing on where you want to be and not where you are. And what I mean by that is you need to study your markets. You need to know your competitors, their strengths, their weaknesses. You need to figure out what's missing in your market. Is it roof cleaning? Is it being the wood cleaning guru, right? Is it being the go-to window cleaner? Whatever it is, you need to find your niche. You need to explore it, and then you need to become the expert. So focus on where you want to be, not where you are. And you need to position yourself for real success, and you do that by preparation. And you have to also be ready and prepared for that growth. And you don't want to grow your business too fast, because that's a failure. That's a recipe for failure right off the bat. And, you know, we want to cut your learning curve, and that's what we're going to do at WashCon. And by cutting your learning curve, we're like Aaron was just saying, we're going to cut the fat, right? We're going to take away all of the nonsense, the noise, and we're going to get you laser focused on those things that are really going to help you move that needle. And like, I've seen guys that have tried way too hard, and they've moved too fast to get bigger than they need to be. And it was the wrong move. They need to master their craft first and then decide what those next steps are. Like, you don't want to just start getting out there and marketing like crazy and generating a massive amount of lead flow and then not be able to satisfy those customers, right? So you kind of got to really focus on where that growth is going to come from, and we're going to walk you guys through that. Another thing that I'm a huge proponent of is automation, automating everything, eliminating all those tasks that slow you down every day, bog you down, because that really limits your growth. That limits your ability to scale. And if you guys watch my channel, you hear me say it all the time. Time is money. And you've only got so much time in the day, so you need to maximize that time and be as efficient as possible with your time. So that's one of those things that you need to do. Automate everything, whether it's, you know, you're selling, you're quoting, communication with customers, invoicing, every aspect. Henry Ford paved the way with the automation. Jeff Bezos has taken it even further. So let's learn from those guys and implement it in our own businesses. And I've kind of taken all of that and really implemented it into this world that we live in. And I can show you some really amazing ways to streamline your business, to give you back a lot more time and allow you to be more efficient and focus on those things that are more important than, you know, the daily tasks that consume so much. And then one last thing that I want to talk about that really will help you grow that business is building a great team, right? The key to any success, and Cody can speak to this, is if you're going to scale, you got to have a good team that knows your systems, knows your processes, because, and this is going to sound funny, but your team is way more important than your customers. And by that, I mean, if your team fails your customers, your business is going to have a hard time succeeding. So, you know, hiring, vetting, making sure you guys got the right applicants, and making sure you find the right people that represent your company and ultimately you. Those are some of the key things that are going to help you be the guy that writes a check. So that's my 2 cents, boys.
I won't forget to say this, so let me do it real quick. But we were looking at this today, right? So I've got I know how much I know because I've been in the shop for 2.5, 3 years building the equipment myself, right? Well, the goal is for me to not do that anymore because that's obviously the goal. So I know exactly what can get built out there in that shop on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. If you don't know that, like big companies, what they do is they'll hire an engineering firm to come in and do a time study if you're in a plant or an industrial setting. And they'll sit there and they'll actually time all the tasks, and they will come up with an unbiased third-party number as to what's, a production standard in this example. And then the management will probably add 50% to that, and that's your standard, right? So the question is, how do we get that number? I know that number. How do you guys get your number? Well, a lot of you don't even know like what's possible. When I was running a wash truck, before I got really involved and met some other guys that were doing it for real, like several years ago, I was doing it part-time for over 20 years, but I met up with some guys and I was like, holy crap, they're doing $200,000 a year. Is that even possible? And then guess what? The next year we did $203,000, me and Dusty in an old Tundra, only because I saw what was available and what could be done. So there's the good news is there's tons of guys out there, and we are affiliated or know just about every type of dude, right? Depending on what you're trying to, we got trash bin cleaners, we got guys that wash roofs, we got guys that do parking garages. Every niche in the pressure washing world, the four of us know it very well. And so when you go to something like WashCon, even aside from the learning that you're going to do there, your eyes get opened up to, well, this guy's doing this, right? This guy's doing that. We're saying you sent a picture to the group earlier, Aaron, about Michael Roberts, one of our previous alumni from a previous event we did. And we've sold out every event we've ever done, guys. So make no mistake, WashCon will sell out. But dude doing trash bin cleaning and is freaking a monster at it. And I was like, trash bin cleaning? What you talking about, Oscar the Grouch? What you talking about? I didn't even know it was a thing, it was 5 years ago. And it's like a whole thing. So the hard work, if you don't, like Mike's saying, you got to have like this vision of where you're going, but don't just pull that vision out of YouTube. Network with some real dudes that you can shake their hand, get their number. You got an accountability partner. This is big in the inner circle, that we're bouncing things off of other legit. You can meet some guys at an event that can really give you some data to start pursuing those goals so that you can get off the truck. You can scale like Mike's talking about. So I think that's a huge takeaway that gets overlooked at some of these real actual training events. We're not talking about a trade show, guys. Okay, we're not walking around looking at stuff all weekend. We're talking about a training event that's designed to, like Aaron said, cut your learning curve. But you're going to be with a bunch of other serious people.